those who struggle to acknowledge what they see in the mirror, how can we help them?
Good question.
That is a good question. And look, at the end of the day, you can only help somebody who wants to be helped. The reason we don't like what we see in the mirror is because of the feeling it brings up. So if we wanted to help somebody, we could try and help them feel. It's very difficult to, like, if you've got a big trauma or a big shame or something in your life that is just too big, it's too emotionally overwhelming, it might be easier to focus on something else, but get them to start to feel in different ways. So it's not related to your shame, it's not related to the relationship, but maybe learning or teaching someone how to feel in regards to something else. So when someone cuts you off in traffic, how does that make you feel? Do you feel the anger rise? Do you feel yourself getting annoyed or frustrated? Just notice that feeling, and you're going to start to build the capacity to feel, so that down the road, it's like going to the gym. You don't go to the gym and get straight on the bench press and put 180 kilos on there. You're going to hurt yourself. You need to go and pick up the bar on its own, and maybe you look a bit silly for a while, but you need to build yourself up. And it's no different with emotional work. You can't go straight for the biggest trauma often, because there's no way your body will give you access to that. It's too much. So one of our great teachers said, just go for the low hanging fruit, which is like when someone cuts you off in traffic, or you feel an annoyance, start to look at that feeling and realize, I'm in here, I feel this feeling, and just start to get curious with it. You don't have to change it. You don't have to shame yourself for it. You just notice, I do feel something. I feel something. What is that? What's it telling me? And then naturally, if you keep doing that, you won't even be aware of it consciously, but you'll start to build the capacity to feel more and more. And then maybe one day in, a year or 2 years or 3 years, that person that really struggled with their emotions in a relationship will actually feel like, they can start to get at the edges of their own shame, of their own guilt. And again, this is a very human thing. We all have, at some level, shame and guilt and all these feelings, but every feeling, again, is teaching us and guiding us ultimately to our own wholeness, to our own empowerment. And if we keep pushing it away, that's the sabotage. We keep ourselves limited when we can't face this stuff.
I think that's great advice. I think when we're trying to help someone who really just doesn't want to see it, I think, you come in through a different door, and that's what Justin's sort of saying. Approach some other aspect of your life, whether it be at work or a friendship or in your family dynamics. Can we start to,
Just get leverage somewhere
get
else.
leverage somewhere else, learn the skills that you might need for your relationship somewhere else. I also think some people literally don't want to be helped. We have people that just walk out the door, and we haven't really had it in the workshop, but we have had people just go, this is just not for me. I think one of the things that really, really helps a lot of people is when you sit and say, there's no faults, there's no blame. Every person comes into relationships with their stuff. So when we run our workshops, for example, probably one of my favorite parts is when we sit and describe what we went through, and then just unpick it a little bit and show people that there's nothing wrong with you, that the way you're showing up is just a series of behaviors that you learn often in childhood to survive and adapt and be the best version. It worked for you for a period of time.
Kept you safe as a child.
Safe. But now it might not be working for you. And your partner did too. So oftentimes, all of a sudden, the defenses drop. Oh, they're not blaming me. And when two partners I love having couples come to our workshops, because when they both sit there and they're both hearing the same thing, and the same message being that no one's at fault, we're not blaming you. This is where we want to work with it and see what's going on, and let's just open it up and have a bit of a look. And oftentimes that can really drop someone's defenses. And when people just start to see how they're conditioned, it can be a really big eye opener when we go through a bit of an exercise where we just investigate, like, where did my idea of love come from? Where did my model of love come from? What did it look like? What does happiness mean to me? What does, success, beauty, whatever it is? And when we look at our conditioning, often people's little brains go pop, and they think, oh my gosh, I didn't make up those ideas. They were handed to me by my family of origin, by my sports community, my school, my church, whatever it might be. And so often that can drop defenses as awareness grows. So I think becoming more aware in different aspects and experiencing feelings, and then just awareness. How can we raise awareness and open that up in a non-confrontational way? Then somebody might go, oh, there's more for me to know here.
I think too, when someone's really, like, if you're talking, Terrain, about someone who's, really shut, they're really, they just do not want to look at themselves, and they think the world's the problem, not them. That is someone who's really there's so much defense around their heart because they've been hurt young, generally. So the best thing you could do, if you can't actively get someone to look at themselves, is just to create space where they can feel safe, where you don't have to talk about anything, you don't have to coach them, you don't have to guide them or pick or pry or try and get them to open up. But quite often, if you can just be the safe space that they never had over time, well, they'll realize intuitively that I don't need to defend against this person. This person's not judging me, they're not attacking me, they're not trying to get me to do anything. And that defense can naturally start to dissolve, but that may take some time. So that might have to be a friendship or a family relationship or whatever that you're willing to put time into, to spend time with that person over a period of time to do that. That might not be available to you. It might be a colleague or a co-worker or someone who you're just not willing to spend time with, and that's okay. But if somebody can, we all just want to feel safe. Again, it comes down to that emotional safety. If you can create a space, but again, for you to be able to create a space for that person, you are going to have to understand your emotions so that you don't get triggered, so that person, because they're going to be defensive, they're going to probably be projecting all of those things. And if you don't understand yourself and you can't hold the space for that person, then you're no good for them either. They're actually mirroring to you that you can't hold space. You've got something to work on. So.